Have you ever thought of traveling to a country where a single map offers a metropolis, vineyards, jungle, and ice? Argentina is that invitation. In Buenos Aires, wide avenues lead to bookshops, cafes, and nights filled with tango. And when the city fades into silence, don't you feel like heading out to discover what lies beyond the horizon? Out in the pampas, the plains stretch endlessly. Further south, lakes reflect forests and snow-capped peaks. What sensation comes over you when you see the Andes light up at dusk? Argentina is among the largest territories in the world, and this vastness explains its variety of climates. Around 47.5 million people live there, mostly in cities, yet with a rural soul that anchors the national culture. Aconcagua, the giant of the Americas, seems to touch the clouds. The Iguazu Falls cast mist and rainbows over walkways, and the Perito Moreno Glacier groans and cracks as ice breaks off, as though nature itself were applauding. Between one adventure and the next, Mendoza toasts with award-winning wines, Bariloche welcomes you with its forests, and Ushuaia blows winds from the end of the world. Would you rather sip a Malbec at sunset, hike across glaciers, or lose yourself in a milonga? With strong agriculture, an established industrial base, and a well-developed tourism sector, the country is drawing attention with its economic forecasts. Estimates from the International Monetary Fund pointed to a growth rate of around 4.5% in 2025. If Argentina could be summed up in one word, it would be contrast. And what if you could experience all these contrasts in a single journey? Now take a deep breath. From here on, we'll open 12 doors, and each one will feel like the best scene in your film. Let's open the first door, Buenos Aires. You step off the plane and already sense the city unfolds in layers. The glamour of Recoleta, the creative energy of Palermo, the bohemian air of San Telmo. In the morning, a media luna and a strong coffee become the perfect excuse to cross Plaza de Mayo, stand before the Casa Rosada, and feel how Buenos Aires turns history into part of everyday life. In the city center, the obelisk and Avenida 9 de Julio may seem like urban excess, but just a few blocks away, the rhythm shifts in Puerto Madero, with author-driven restaurants and wines served with views of the river. At night, tango stops being a postcard cliché. The moment you stumble into a neighborhood milonga and watch ordinary people dancing with seriousness and affection, as if they were rehearsing for life. Looking for understated luxury, classic hotels, rooftops serving crafted cocktails, and private experiences at the Teatro Colón, inaugurated in 1908, offer comfort without sacrificing authenticity. And then there's the practical side. Day-to-day costs can surprise visitors arriving with a strong currency, thanks to exchange rate variations, turning fine dinners into spontaneous little yeses. But just as the bandoneon still echoes in your mind, the next door already stirs your imagination with mist and rainbows, the Iguazu Falls. Now, the sound doesn't come from cars, but from water. In Puerto Iguazu, the town feels like a green pause, perched on the border between Brazil and Argentina, where three cultures blend and tourism becomes a common language. Inside the Iguazu National Park, the journey is a show in itself. Short trails, the scent of damp forest, colorful butterflies, and curious coetes appearing like they own the place. Just a few steps in, you notice something curious. Before you see the falls, you hear them. The noise begins faintly, like a lazy thunder, then grows stronger with every turn, mixed with bird song and the crunch of leaves beneath your trainers. On the walkways, your gaze gets lost in walls of water and clouds of spray cooling your face. This is when you understand why the Iguazu Falls made the list of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's not just beauty, it's scale, movement, and awe. The Devil's Throat, the mighty funnel of the river, is the moment that makes your chest vibrate. The mist rises, the ground trembles ever so slightly, and a rainbow appears without warning. For a more comfortable experience, you can plan quieter hours, a boat ride that leaves you drenched, and then a carefully prepared dinner with jungle views. After the hot mist of Iguazu, the journey takes on a mountain air. San Martín de los Andes appears like an elegant village, with dark timber facades and mountains sealing the horizon, right there in the province of New Quén. Hugging the edge of Lake Lakar, the town is the kind of base that balances adventure and comfort without conflict. You sip a hot chocolate while gazing at the glassy water, and minutes later, you're already on a trail inside Andean National Park, surrounded by dense forest, silent viewpoints, and the sense that the air is somehow cleaner than it should be. There's a route that becomes addictive for anyone who loves a scenic drive, the Seven Lakes Road, along National Route 40, linking Villa La Angostura to San Martín in just over 110 kilometers. One lake mirrors the sky, another looks like a swimming pool in its clarity, and then, suddenly, a hidden little beach appears. Perfect for stopping, shedding your jacket and forgetting about time. In winter, Cerro Chapelco swaps its trails for snow and becomes a ski destination. In summer, it turns into a scenic viewpoint with sweeping views over the valley. But the best part is how San Martín acts as a gateway. From there, the map starts to stretch southward, and the word Patagonia stops being just an idea. It becomes a destination. A vast territory shared with Chile, covering just over 1 million square kilometers, with a constant sense that there's far too much space here. The wind becomes a character of its own, the light shifts quickly, and the landscape alternates between forests, steppe plains, and icy lakes that look like mirrors. On solid ground, local culture shows up without pretense. Chimarrón passed from hand to hand, estancias with sheep as far as the eye can see, lamb roasting slowly, and road trip tales born at petrol stations and ending at makeshift viewpoints. The mythical Ruta 40 stitches it all together, and you start to understand why so many insist on driving. Every stretch delivers a new composition. Guanacos at the roadside and condors tracing circles overhead. For those traveling in more comfort, it's possible to create a bespoke itinerary with remote lodges, private horse rides, and fly fishing in rivers so clear they seem unreal. By the sea, Patagonia hits differently. The Valdez Peninsula, recognized by UNESCO in 1999, becomes a wildlife stage, with southern right whales returning in numbers now surpassing 4,700, and a peak season that typically explodes between August and September. If you love uncovering new cultures, learning surprising curiosities about countries and cities around the globe, and are always searching for the next jaw-dropping story, then this channel is for you. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our content. And if you know someone who also loves exploring the world, share it with them. Let's turn every video into a new adventure together. Welcome to a region where the wind gets sharper and the world seems to end. Ushuaia, a city tucked between mountains and the Beagle Channel, with colorful rooftops, the scent of cold sea air, and that comforting feeling of being somewhere far from everything. The first thing that strikes you here is the light. It hits differently on the dark waters of the channel, making the city look like a film set. On a boat trip, you pass islands where sea lions stretch lazily on the rocks, and seabirds skim just above the waves. When the Les Éclaireurs lighthouse appears on the horizon, you instinctively lower your voice, as if the place demands respect. Among forests and peat bogs, the Tierra del Fuego National Park, created in 1960, blends easy trails with icy bays. It's a rare kind of park, where nature meets the sea, shifting the climate and the sounds around you. If your style is snow, Cerro Casta is the perfect winter plan, with a full ski infrastructure and a chill that stirs hunger for a hearty, hot meal. In the little town centre, King Crab, Shentola, steals the spotlight at dinner, and shop windows make you crave even more coats. And just when you think you can't go any further, Ushuaia still whispers about cruises heading for Antarctica, the scent of chocolate in the air and wood crackling in a fireplace. Bariloche welcomes you in the province of Rio Negro, on the shores of Lake Nahuel Huapi, a glacial lake covering around 550 square kilometers. In Mapuche, its name recalls the island of the puma. Among Arayan trees and gentle trails, you realize there's much more to do in Bariloche than just chocolate. The lakes region is designed for exploration, with scenic viewpoints, chilly beaches, boat trips, and stunning drives like the Circuito Chico. From the top of Cerro Campanario, the view feels almost unfair, and the Nahuel Huapi National Park, established in 1934, stretches out like a tapestry of mountains and lake arms in every direction. During the winter season, Cerro Cathedral comes alive with roughly 120 kilometers of pistas and ski lifts. In the summer, the same place swaps skis for trekking, cycling, and sunset watching. For those after a more exclusive itinerary, it's easy to pair 5-star hotels with guided artisan chocolate tastings, smoked trout dinners, and a private sailing trip, with the wind in your face and the lake stretching wide like the sea. From Bariloche's refined cold, we descend the mountains and swap pine trees for sunshine. Mendoza greets you with clear skies, dry air, and a golden light that makes the Andes look like a painting. The city was born and raised in the desert, which means water dictates the rhythm of life. Irrigation canals cut through neighborhoods and vineyards, carrying melted snow from the mountains to the vines. That's why here, wine is more than a drink. It's engineering and culture. In the Uco Valley, Malbec takes the lead. Deep color, plum aromas, a smooth finish. At modern bodegas, you can enjoy guided tastings, visit barrel rooms, and even create your own blend, with a down-to-earth sommelier walking you through it all. Those traveling with a taste for luxury will find hotels nestled between vineyards, spas with views of the Andes, and open-air dinners that start early too, because the sun sets quickly behind the mountains. And when the wind shifts, the conversation inevitably turns to Aconcagua, the giant of the Americas, standing at 6,961 meters tall. But Mendoza also offers adventure, bike rides, horseback excursions, and winding roads that climb to viewpoints where the silence is almost complete. And when the last drop of Malbec clings to the glass, the map pulls you toward true trail, all the way to El Chaltén, a small village with the soul of a base camp, where you wake up ready to end the day with tired legs and a clear mind. Founded on the 12th of October 1985, the town lies within Los Glaciares National Park, an area designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981. According to the 2022 census, the population was 1,861, but in high season, the whole world comes chasing its trails. Up above, Mount Fitzroy rises to 3,405 meters, while Cerro Torre, at 3,128 meters, slices through the sky like a blade. The most iconic trail leads to Laguna de los Tres, a 20-kilometer round trip with an 800-meter elevation gain and up to 10 hours of hiking. The destination caters to all levels, offering everything from easy lookout points to challenging routes. Declared the national capital of trekking on the 28th of July 1994, the village thrives on gear shops, bakeries, and craft beer. Just as the scent of forest still lingers, Argentina shifts its palette, and the next door opens to the Andean colors of Jujuy. In the Quebrada de Humahuaca, designated a World Heritage Site in 2003, the road weaves through Andean villages where life flows slowly, but with a bold, unmistakable character. In Purmamarca, the Hill of Seven Colors is more than just a beautiful mountain. It changes hue as the light shifts, and every minute is worthy of a new photo. Further up, the Salinas Grandes resemble a vast white desert, smooth, flat, and almost without a visible horizon, located at over 3,400 meters above sea level. You feel the thin air, so the experience is best with proper planning. Water in your backpack, short stops, and a comfortable vehicle that lets you take in the landscape without rushing. On the cultural side, Jujuy is a feast for the senses. You'll find street music, markets filled with vibrant textiles and ceramics, and regional delights like humita and richly seasoned empanadas. For those seeking exclusivity, there are adobe-style lodgings with thoughtful design touches beaches, and a night sky so vivid it feels like a film set. It's the perfect place to disconnect and absorb the energy of the painted mountains. And just when your mind is full of Andean colours, the next door swaps the thin air for the university rhythm of the Sierras. Welcome to Córdoba. You arrive and immediately feel the youthful energy spilling out of cafes and plazas. This is home to one of the oldest universities in the Americas, founded in 1613. The Mosque Cathedral of Córdoba frames history and architecture in the same view, with street performers playing in the shade of its ancient walls. But Córdoba is no museum. When the sun goes down, the bars fill up, the rhythm takes over, and cold drinks appear on nearly every table. A local ritual celebrating life outdoors. Compared to Buenos Aires, eating well here is easier on the wallet, so you feel like stretching out the conversation and letting the night choose its own path through the narrow Jewish quarter streets. If the urge strikes to escape the tarmac, the Roman bridge over the Guadalquivir River is right there, opening the way to winding roads, scenic viewpoints, and small villages where the day drifts by between a light walk and a long lunch. For a more exclusive itinerary, you can opt for a boutique hotel, a spa with a view, and a gastronomic experience pairing kid goat, artisanal cheeses, and unhurriedly poured wine. And since Argentina loves to shift the scene once more, the next door leads north again, with even more history and open skies. Salta, with colonial facades, clear skies, and a dry breeze that invites you to walk slowly. Founded on the 16th of April, 1582, the city still preserves that old town layout. Neat blocks, shaded squares, and verandas where it feels like the city is whispering. Between one corner and the next, you begin to understand why they call it Salta, la linda, Salta, the beautiful. The cathedral and historic churches set the pace of the day, and then comes a shift in tone, a gondola ride on the San Bernardo cable car, gliding over the forested hillside to viewpoints where Salta becomes a miniature, with the Andes cutting across the background. Up there, the wind shifts, and late afternoon starts to feel like a film scene. At Plaza 9 de Julio, the city pulses gently, people coming and going, cafes with tables spilling onto the pavements, and that soft hum of conversation that becomes a soundtrack. The old facades seem to guard the center, but everything is very much alive. When the night cools down, Salta trades sightseeing for music. The peñas on Calle Balcarce start quietly, and then suddenly you're clapping along with a hot empanada salteña in hand. There's no pressure here. You can simply watch or dive in, as if every table is an invitation to stretch the evening a little longer. And as you step out of that warm northern night, Argentina delivers one of its signature shifts. The dry air falls away. The landscape begins to smell of salt, and the next door opens with wind on your face and the sound of waves crashing on the promenade. Mar del Plata, the salt hits before the view. Mar del Plata brings wind in your face, wide open skies, and that ocean sound that somehow clears the mind. Founded on the 10th of February 1874, the city grew into a classic seaside resort, and to this day, it blends holidays and real life on the same block, with a stable population of around 650,000 people, and a season that draws millions of visitors throughout the year. Along the seafront, the walk is simple and addictive. Strolling the promenade, choosing a beach, and noticing how each stretch has its own vibe. Some spots are full of umbrellas and families, others are more sporty, with surfers catching waves. And then there are lookouts, where the wind blows harder and the water seems to change colour. Between stops, cafes, ice cream parlours and alfajors become official breaks, the kind you invent just to keep staring at the sea a little longer. Near the port, one scene steals attention effortlessly. The Sea Lion Reserve. They lounge there, sprawled in the sun, making that noisy, lazy racket, while everyone tries to film them without laughing. And when night falls, Mar del Plata trades sand for lights and culture, The International Film Festival, created in 1954, usually stirs the city in November, and suddenly you're choosing between a long dinner, a walk along the illuminated promenade, or just one more lap before heading back to the hotel. Now take a breath, because the camera may turn off, but the feeling lingers. At the end of this journey, it's easy to understand why Argentina feels like a country made to be addictive. Just when you think you've figured out the climate, the rhythm, the flavor, it changes everything without warning. It's a constant metamorphosis that invites the traveler to be someone new at every stop, discovering fresh layers of themselves while crossing internal borders. Buenos Aires opened again with tango cafes and nights that begin in elegance and end in loud laughter. The Iguazu Falls made the body remember the scale of nature, mist on your face, and that roar that sticks in your mind like an ancestral echo. In San Martín de los Andes, the air grew lighter, and the lakes taught you to slow down. Soon after, Patagonia hit you with wind and showed that the horizon itself is a destination. Ushuaia took that idea to the extreme. At the end of the world, with icy seas, dramatic light, and a silence that seems to have its own volume. Bariloche arrived like a warm hug of forest and handcrafted chocolate, and Mendoza responded with sunshine, vineyards, and a glass of wine that calls for long conversations under a clear sky. El Chaltén swapped comfort for hiking, and gave back landscapes that made you smile without realizing in 2 or 3 unforgettable climbs. In the north, Jujuy painted mountains like watercolor, and Salta added music to the streets, plazas to daily life, and a cable car that delivers a view you'd happily repeat 1,000 times. Córdoba stepped in with youthful energy, pavement tables, and a night that needs no excuse to last until dawn. And just when the itinerary felt complete, Mar del Plata closed the circle with salt in the air and waves marking time. A reminder that sometimes traveling is simply about walking and observing. And the best part, each place has its own rhythm. You choose when to speed up, slow down, splurge, or travel light through this fascinating country.